Hey folks, Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin. This is part 2 of my top 25 favorite horror movies ever. Again, thanks to WWE NXT Guy for suggesting this show topic. So the first video I did, which if you haven't watched, you might want to watch it because, well, otherwise you're going to be kind of lost on what I talked about before. But I talked about 5 movies in the span of about 20 minutes. Because I did a little bit of an introduction and everything and stuff like that. So, introduction won't be as long. But, basically these movies are going to be from wherever. I mean, it could be all the way from back in the 50s to wherever, stuff like that. I'm kind of keeping some monster movies out of it, as I could always do a separate list for that. Like stuff like The Host, the South Korean monster movie. Creature from the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein, The Wolfman, Dracula. I could always do a separate list for those. This one, I mean, yeah, there's some monster stuff mixed in. I'm not going to be able to cover every single, horror movie. That's my absolute favorite. But these are 25 of my favorite, my personal favorite. Ones I can watch again, and enjoy. And so now we go with number 20, Jeepers Creepers. No, not Jeepers Creepers 2, which was absolute shit. And it was absolute shit. This is the first one, which I was actually pretty intrigued by the trailers, but I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be just funny schlock. It's trash, but it's trash done well. However, it goes with that old thing, kind of like about It. Like, every 27 years, well, in Jeepers Creepers, every 23 years, for 23 days, the creeper gets to eat. It eats eyes so it can see. It eats a tongue so it can speak. And various other organs. Lungs so it can breathe. This kind of stuff, and then it goes into hibernation, and you can't kill it. Apparently, it's an impenetrable armor that it has. Which I actually like the concept of it. I thought it was pretty damn cool. And Gina Phillips and Justin Long are in there. Justin Long you may recognize from various other comedies. I think he was also in the Britney Spears movie Crossroads, which was shit if you haven't seen. I do remember watching. I was actually working at the theater at the time, and Crossroads was absolute shit. There were maybe 2 people that were in there to watch it, like, for realsies, and, yeah, for super realsies, and everybody else was just there to make fun of it. Anyway, back to Jeepers Creepers. Brother and sister, 2 people, the more you know, driving back after a long discussion, I guess. One of them was in college, and suddenly they're getting, just barreled down on by this, huge truck. What's going on? What in the world? Well, truck eventually sort of kind of runs them off the road, sort of, and then just barrels past. Well, they see the truck up the road, and it's somebody, a dark figure, dumping stuff down a pipe, like a, giant drain pipe. That's going about like this, so it just slides down. It's like it's like a water slide for death. But one of the lines that I particularly remember is Gina Phillips saying to Justin Long. Sorry, I don't remember the character names right off the bat, so I'm just gonna call the actors by their name. You know the part in a horror movie where somebody does something really stupid and they regret it? This is it. Or words to that effect. And it's right. Justin Long goes down there, sees a whole bunch of dead bodies and, stuff like this and whatever. And, oh, God, what have I done? Of course, he gets out of there. But now, since they know the secret of the creeper is coming after them. And the creeper likes something of one of them. But which one is it? And it was pretty damn cool. I'm not going to get into the director and what stuff he might be into, is that doesn't take away from how much I enjoyed the movie. However, I can't say I respect the director necessarily. Victor Salva, read up on him, you'll understand what I mean. Especially if any of it's true. But back to the movie. They are trying to get away from the creeper at one point. Sorry, spoilers. If you haven't seen it by this point, though, the movie came out in 2001. Run over the creeper at one point. It's like, I think, like, they run over it a few times. Are they dead? Or it's like, is it dead? They never are, and she's right, because in horror movies they never are. So they're self-aware, but at the same time they make some stupid decisions. There's a scene in a police station, really cramped police station. I'm not even saying like it was budgetary constraints that made it cramped, but it felt like the thing took place in like about 3 rooms. Still, it was a really nice horror movie, and it had some really, really good scenes to it. And, well, just going to say it, poor Justin Long, things don't end so good for him. But it goes with the old song, where I guess I probably should have figured what the creeper wanted, but Jeepers Creepers, where'd you get those peepers? Jeepers Creepers, where'd you get those eyes? And it was really cool. I actually really liked the fact that the kids were self-aware, but at the same time, no matter how self-aware they were, of horror movie cliches and stuff like that, they still weren't going to be able to battle and beat this seemingly indestructible creature. I mean, it's not indestructible if you've seen the second one. And again, the second one was shit. So watch this one. But then if you watch the second one, understand the second one shit. And apparently they came out with a third one. They had one day or one night appearance in movie theaters. So I guess that'll be out at some point. I heard from people it's supposed to be like the first one, so good. But I enjoyed Jeepers Creepers. I thought it was a really, really fun, goofy horror movie, kind of monster-ish, but still really, really fun. So I enjoyed that. But again, I do want to give special mention to movies like Creature from the Black Lagoon, which actually is one of my favorite movies of all time. But I don't just consider it horror. I consider it across, like, a couple genres and stuff like that. It's almost a bit of a drama, too. So, it's about a creature killing people in the Amazon. But Jeepers Creepers, a lot of fun. Now we move on to the Babadook. Whether it's in a book or it's in a look, you can't get rid of the Babadook. I think that's the line. I tend to screw up that tagline, even though I really like this movie. A mother and her young son, Sam. The father died, and I'm sorry, spoiler, but the father died while, I think, when the kid was at a very young age, or when maybe even the mother was being driven to the hospital to give birth to him. And what was great is you saw the psychological torment that the kid had from not having a father and acting up, and the mother doing her best, but it's getting to her, it's getting to her, it's getting to her. And you have to wonder if the Babadook from this book that she reads her kid, which is one of the creepiest goddamn books ever, is maybe a manifestation of her psychological torture. And maybe her way of dealing with this young child. It's a very cheaply made movie, but it doesn't feel cheap. Like, apparently this budget was like under $100,000, which, if so, that's very impressive, especially for some of the special effects, which were not used very often, but still very, very good. And it's obviously a foreign movie, took place in a foreign country. It was really, really good with how it did the psychological stuff. Like, you're not sure if the character is something the kid's creating, the mother's creating, or if it's legit and this book came to life. It's really, really good. The mother just having this just complete breakdown. The kid is so damn annoying, but I mean, it's a kid. He's growing up. His father died. He never got to know his father. It tackles a lot of issues that really are very good. They are very touching. That kind of makes us go, it's not necessarily just a horror movie, it's kind of psychological horror. It does have some physical horror to it. Not so much body horror, but it's very psychological, and it's maybe not as great as I thought it was going to be from the trailers, but maybe that's because I had different expectations for it. Thinking back now and having seen it twice, I really do enjoy what the movie was and what it was trying to do. Exploring the relationship of this child and this mother as they try to build their lives after after the father, after woman's husband, the kid's father, was no longer there. And is the Babadook a manifestation of all their of all their anger and all their torment that they're suffering? And it does explore quite a bit of that, and it's really, really fun. And the Babadook's pretty scary. I mean, it has some really good scares to it. It's really enjoyable. I think it's still on Netflix as of this recording. I'm actually recording this October 5th. So if it's on Netflix, I recommend you check it out. Even if so, you could stream it on Amazon. If you have Amazon Prime, it might be part of it. Otherwise, it might only be a few bucks. I recommend you get it. It's really, really worth it. Babadook's really, really good. I really enjoyed it. And now we move on to number 18, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1978. Not the 1993 edition that Donald Sutherland was also in. That was when a glut of horror movies were coming out, and it was really shit. The 1950s version does deserve special mention for being a very good horror movie, especially for the 50s. The 78 one nails it with some of the body horror and some of the the heightened scariness of, I guess kind of the Cold War and stuff like that. Because this was still the 70s. You had the gas crisis, and you had, the various stuff and a lot of drugs coming in, and you had a lot of shit going on in the 70s. And you had a lot of people on edge still because of maybe even the threat of nuclear war. A lot of people had a lot of, a lot of fears. And what was great is watching this, they tackled everything where it's like, okay, can you trust the one person? Because what it is this alien parasite to take over people. It's like the movie Invasion, only the movie Invasion was shit. It was really shit. And I love Daniel Craig and Nicole Kidman. I really love Nicole Kidman. But that movie was shit. Even though the concept was good. Invasion of the Body Snatchers 1978 edition just nails everything correct. It's better than the 56 version by some. It's way better than the 93 edition. Because it tackles everything just so well. The sound that the alien makes. Actually, I'm not going to try and impersonate here. But it's very haunting. And everybody trying to say, oh, I can trust this person. Oh, God, I can't. Oh, no, not you, not you. And that's the thing. That's the feeling of hopelessness of your loved ones being taken over by these aliens. And you being unable to do anything about it. And then no matter what anybody tries, this alien invasion can't be stopped. Eventually it is stopped. But anyway, the whole point is that there's really... Because, of course, that's a lot of movies have these happy endings. Except if you're The Mist. Ha! Fuck you, movie. You were not on this list. God damn it, making Thomas Jane kill his entire family. I'm sure that's how I haven't actually read the book, so I'm sure that's how the book ended, but still. It's like, really? God, we couldn't have done something better? But anyway. Invasion of Body Snatchers are very enjoyable. Donald Sutherland was great in this. And so was the rest of the cast. But Donald Sutherland's the most recognizable face. And it's weird to think that he was in this, and he was also in the 1993 edition. I don't believe he was in the 1956 edition, because I don't believe he was old enough at that point. At least I don't think he was. It would be amazing if he was. I don't remember the it's 56 or 55. I don't remember that edition as much. But 78 sticks out in my mind as being good with body horror, good with psychological horror. It really nailed all the marks of a good horror movie. And now we move on to Halloween H2O. This is about as close as they were going to get to the original Halloween, which does make an appearance later on this list. Spoiler. Not shocking, really. Friday the 13th does not make an appearance here because that one was pretty ridiculous. It wasn't really that scary. I say this as Sleepaway Camp made the list earlier. But Halloween H2O nailed it perfectly with... They kind of ignored the rest of the sequels. The timeline's really, really confusing, so I'm not going to try to get into that. But you have Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis's character. She's come back because Mike Myers, her brother, has come back. And... there's various big cast of people and everything and stuff like that. LL Cool J, I think, really stood out in this movie. There's other cast members, too, that are really, really good. And everybody plays their roles fine. This is certainly better than Halloween Resurrection, because that was shit. Even though Busta Rhymes seemed to have fun in it. I like Busta Rhymes. But Halloween H2O almost matched the original Halloween. That one's way up here. Halloween H2O is still here. But it got some good horror. It got some good horror elements. Understood the claustrophobic slasher genre properly. and did really, really well with it. I think for your money, it is certainly one of the best ones that they've done. It was enjoyable. It was good slasher stuff. It was, of course, not the greatest thing ever, because Halloween, the original, 1978, was still the best. But this one was damn close. The cast was well done. Casting was well done. The lighting, the slasher stuff about it, it captured everything well. Once Scream came out, that kind of revitalized the whole genre, even though Scream was kind of making fun of it. This brought back the slasher genre, and Halloween H2O captured that just about as perfectly as it could. Especially considering they had had so many sequels up to this point. Now, I'm not going to put the Rob Zombie mentions on here. Even though I give him credit for doing great with the horror, it's like they kind of went off the rails. Though Danielle Harris looked great in the first one. My God. How was she in her 30s? She looked like she was about 21. Fun fact, I think she was in Halloween 4 or 5 or something like that as a kid. It was really weird how she was in that and then she was in that, whatever. Halloween H2O, though, very, very good. Not going to put the Rob Zombie ones on here because while enjoyable at times, they weren't great. Now we move on to Mama. At number 16. Many might be surprised that I put this on here. I don't have Poltergeist on here. And I'll tell you why I don't have Poltergeist on here. Poltergeist had its moments of scares. And had a pretty damn good cast to it. And sure, had some really, really good, shocking moments. The problem is it got really, really stupid at the end with the coffins rising up and all that shit. So Poltergeist, if I had done maybe top 30, top 35 might have been on here. Hell, it might have been number 20 had I done that. But I had to cut some movies out. And that's why I cut Poltergeist out. That's not to say Poltergeist is a bad movie. It's certainly better than any of the damn sequels. But I'll have Poltergeist on here for my own personal reasons. Craig T. Nelson was great. You move the tombstones, but you never or gravestones, but you never move the bodies. But Poltergeist gets a special mention for having a scary moments, but I feel that those last 20 minutes, I don't know. It just for some reason it didn't set well with me. Not that I thought it was too much, I just thought it was too hokey. Anyway, now Mama. Well, 2 children are discovered in a cabin where their dad tried to kill them. And then the mother, Mama, took care of the dad. And then Mama has been watching over these children for a while and taking care of anybody that tries to hurt them. 2 new parents come into life, adopt these 2 girls. Okay, things are a little different because these girls were living in squalor and living in a cabin and all dirty and stuff like that. But eventually they get to where they're adjusting. But then the psychological stuff and then the horror stuff starts to happen, the supernatural. Now, I will say that this movie wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be. Just from the trailers. That doesn't make it any less scary, though. There's some moments where, Mama, when the apparition comes to life, is crawling and doing, this kind of almost not spider walk, but, the unnatural walking, where it's almost on all fours, like a beast coming at you. There's a good amount of moments in it where you're going to jump. I mean, it has a few jump scares. It doesn't have a ton, but it has more than some. More than some movies. And Mama was just an enjoyable flick. The ending maybe is a little bit hokey. A little bit. But it's stupid because one of the kids actually kind of ruined the damn thing where everything could have been a happy ending had the kid not said anything. But it was good. It was really, really good and enjoyable. The ending was a bit sad, but given that one of the kids was really, really annoying, I can't really say it was necessarily a bad thing. I mean, sorry, just Character on, in the movie, not actual kid. Well, I mean, actual kid playing. You get my point. It's not an actual bad thing happening to a real child. It's in a movie. It's fake. Like the moon landing. Kidding. Anyway, kidding. Just had to throw that out there. Because we all know pro wrestling's fake. Kidding. Pro wrestling's not fake. It's scripted. But Mama was enjoyable. The kids did their best to try and stop Mama from killing these nice people that were taking care of them. Yeah, it was really, really good stuff. It was enjoyable. So I liked it. But anyway, that's where I'm going to leave that off. I'm kind of going to do about 5 per show. So I really hope you guys enjoy this as I do it in 5 parts. I might end up even doing 6 parts because maybe once I get to the top 10, I might cover a little more. But anyway, what do you guys think so far of what I've covered from 25 to 16? Do you agree? Do you disagree with what I said? Like, share, comment, subscribe. Twitter link is in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Ritland. I'm John Ritland. I will see you soon.